that those statements made by Ibrahim Mahama were not a true reflection of the party, the family's position, because Ibrahim was no spokesperson for the family, and that the comments he made could be disregarded. And of course, after the unity works started, it became obvious to any serious political observer, any reasonably diligent analyst of politics and the political sphere, that this was the grounds being prepared for Mahama comeback. And it's not surprising that he would come back, because as I said in the report which was just played, the 2016 election was the only blot in President Mahama's sterling political career. He
Right.
has stellar qualities as a human being, and he's had a sterling political career. 2016 was the only blot, and it makes sense that he would seek, among other things, to clear that blot on his career.
Okay, Raymond, another thing that made it obvious for me was looking at the groundswell of support that John Mahama as an individual has been able to garner in the party. I mean, look at that primary, the 2016 election primary. That other candidate who raised his head was, in so many words, muscled out of the race, wasn't he?
Yes, I mean, I'm not sure anybody was thought that the gentleman was serious, and
And in fairness, I don't think
right
you would have
from the
won.
beginning,
I don't think you would have won.
He would not
that.
have made a dent.
yes, not.
No.
I mean, to all intents and purposes. But Mr. Mahama was president, and let's not forget, when you're president, you have loyalty from appointees first and foremost, from party structures. So you still, and after a few years, you left office barely 2 years ago. So you still enjoy the loyalty of that huge group of people. And to win, at least, you would have gotten almost 5 million votes in the country. So you sure have some people who are still supposed to support you and be with you all through. So as for numbers and having an appreciable number to follow you, go deliver papers or make such a statement, it is clear. And to be fair, in the NDC today, it does sound like if it's not Mahama, then who else? Who else is going to go into the next election in 2 years' time, make the impact that a first timer is supposed to make the impact that you expect of somebody who's known in the political scene and has enough, what they call gravitas, to win an election? So the calculations within the NDC are pretty much like, if we are going to the next election and we want to win that election, our choices are limited to the man on whose record you would have to campaign. Because if you replace Mahama with, let's say, any other person, what are you going to say? That Mahama was not competent enough to come back, and yet you are going to still campaign on the person's record. Is that record good enough to stand the test of time in that particular election? And that's going to be one problem you have to deal with. But, and if you want to close your eyes to what happens in this country since 1992, the political parties have each been going for 2 terms as if we agreed and let them be in that particular space like that. So, if you use that logic alone, without any other permutations involved, you are more likely to have the NPP repeating 2020. Would that be the best chance for you to have President Mahama? Would he contest 2024? Would he have the same level
He's
of
young
support
enough, isn't he?
when he goes into that particular race? Would he have the same level of support? Because you see, political support is mostly not permanent, really. Alignments change. The forces that gravitate towards John Dramani Mahama today may lose steam, may not be as huge as is supposed to be the case now when it goes into 2024. So what some people have suggested in this case is that, well, since if you want to do the list of the permutations and say that the current government is likely to be repeated in the next election, so plan for 2024, will Mr. Mahama still be the best candidate you want to put in that particular election, mindful of all the factors that may go against or for him? So if the NDC is not able to make any major change in 2020, is the party still going to be in the current state? The way the power alignment within the party, would the strength of Jerry Rawlings, and if you check, the entire opposition to John Dramani Mahama revolves around the former president Jerry John Rawlings. And all the people who are seeking to contest Mr. Mahama today would either love the support, the encouragement, or the open declaration of support by a former president, who they think will be the biggest trump card in this particular election.
Which is why it's really strategic that we saw pictures on social media of Jerry John Rawlings sitting in a very, very cozy, scene with Mr. John Mahama. Malik, the dynamics within the party at the moment seem to favor Mr. Mahama. I mean, I have not seen a single candidate who has had this number of members of parliament, or we have a list of 94 members of parliament out, this number of members of parliament saying that, look, we want you to run. We have not seen a number of party executives talk about we want him to run. Number of former government appointees talk about we want him to run. Yet, on the interesting flip side, we have 10 other people, which will be the largest number of candidates if they all run for flag bearer. It will be the largest number of candidates for the NDC since 1992. How does that even happen?
I think Raymond laid a very solid foundation on the quandary in which the party is now. So you have a superstar candidate who, even though he lost the last election, remains the most formidable, most admired, with the best track record in the party. He is one person who transcends all borders, be they religious, ethnic, regional, political. You know that even before the last elections, Mr. Mahama transcended all of these barriers. And these are barriers that usually are erected mainly in our politics. But they are barriers that Mr. Mahama easily transcends. That he can roll with people in opposition parties, with people in other religions, or there is this joke which is shared that my imam in Sandima those days, anytime he was talking about the president, he would call him Muhammad. He's referring to the proper Arabic pronunciation of the name. Of course, we corrupted it as Mahama. He would call him Muhammad. And some thought that he wanted it to look like he's Muslim. But he doesn't need to. Mr. Mahama transcends these barriers easily. So if you have a candidate who has been your best bet, and I said something yesterday and people received a lot of flack for it, about the NDC's campaign in 2012, foundering until the emergence of Mahama. And I don't know who watched the political scene and followed the elections and all the predictions and doesn't believe that the campaign was foundering. But be that as it may, the campaign was foundering. He comes in, brought his own charisma. He has the nobility. He has the soft touch, the humility, and the access, which many people admire. He brought all of that to bear in the campaign in 2012 and lifted the spirit of the party and then won the election. So you have this candidate who is still interested in going. What do you do with him? I think that all of the MPs and the former appointees, and Raymond made reference to that. Remember when he was president, he would have appointed 216 or nominated 216 district, metropolitan, and municipal assembly chief executives. Now, all these 216 people exist. Remember, he would have made reshuffles, brought in people, sent out some of them as ministers. In a total, you have more than 100. Of course, he didn't have 100 at a time, but bringing in some and taking some out and all of that, you would have at least about 100 appointees as ministers and deputy ministers. And you have all of these parastatals and public institutions, banks, state institutions. He appointed all the leaders in all of these institutions. And the boards. All of these people have a certain loyalty to him. And yesterday...
Well, Malik, let me step in there, because when you say all of these people have a certain loyalty to him, a number of the candidates running against him, or who have said they want to run against him, were his appointees. It was Phil Gabra, Alban Bagbin, Sylvester Edmensah, a number of them.
And I'm coming to that. But nonetheless, check the numbers. They are just a few. I'm saying that many of these people have a certain loyalty to him. Take Clement Park, for example. There's a man who was teaching at the University of Ghana. It took Mr. Mahama to bring him from political obscurity, brought him to the presidency, and then he became a member of
I
parliament.
like the expression he used, political obscurity. You know, you don't know what teaching the university can do. Eh? Go and ask Professor Joshua Alabi.
But Alabi's position in the NDC had been solid.
Of course, he was
went
regional
to teach.
minister before he went to teach,
Yes.
and that is what I was saying was just in jest.
So and yesterday Evans mentioned Ukuvandapo, and I said when this man bungled many times as mayor of Accra, at some point it was former President Mahama himself who held his hand to
Theodosia
this
Oko's
woman's
house.
the hockey pitch when at the time it was said as to be an act of indiscretion. He renamed it after the late Mills, and there was an embarrassment on the government. It took the president himself to hold the man's hand to the lady to go and apologize, and then they reversed that act. So all of these people, how can they? It will be an unacceptable level of a failing on their part to
But
not
everyone
support
has his
him.
choice, Malik. When you say it's unacceptable and it will be a failing,
You
really,
you have a choice.
You might be engaged in political suicide if you proceed to doing that. So then, who is your godfather?
Absolutely.
So who would you spring your authority to control a single area from? Because if you are MP and you're chairman of the constituency, your regional chairman, your constituency chairman, they all are people who are solely behind John Dramani Mahama.
They were setting allegiance to him.
and you, the individual. The people that gave you the power are behind a certain force, and you say that, oh no, me, I don't care about that particular force. I want to dissociate myself from that. It was close to impossible for you to continue in that.
And Raymond, between
want
you
to-
and I, do we not know MPs who signed this document, who tell us in confidence that, look, this is the decision of the majority of the people, and they
Yeah.
will go along with it even though they disagree.
Yes, and you don't want to be seen as opposing the stronger force in the party, which may reflect in your own choices too, and your chances going forward. So really,
you see, guys, I
there's a
wonder
bandwagon
where-
effect that you cannot stay away from.
You know what I wonder when I think about this? I wonder where it started. Because Mr. Mahama, we can't ignore the fact that he suffered the heaviest defeats the NDC has suffered in the Fourth Republic. I mean, in the Western region, when Ifeora Kwame Jokoto unfortunately lost abysmally to George Mekuduka in the Takwan Swayeme's constituency, excuse my language, he became a bit of a byword. Excuse my language. For want of a better expression. He has, he was laughed at openly. Because yes, he suffered the worst defeat in the Western region for the NPP. The margin, if I've not forgotten, was about 40,000 votes. It's the worst defeat for the NDC in Takwan Swayem since 1992. Even though he was supposed to be the most impressive candidate who would stage the most. So I'm just saying that when a candidate loses an election like that, it's supposed to take a hit on his persona. However, hosting shows, having politicians sit in front of me, from 2016, I began hearing something. And it's that thing went on. He said, Mr. Mahama has not lost an election. We have failed him. Did you notice, Malik, how blame for the 2016 election loss began to shift to appointees and arrogance, appointees and corruption, appointees and what have you? And in this bid to preserve the image of Mr. Mahama, possibly for a comeback. I just want a minute on this. I'm going for a break.
Yeah, but you make a valid point, and the reason that is happening is because of Mr. Mahama's own strength as a uniquely likable personality.
And you can't walk away from that.
Absolutely.
You
And yesterday
can't.
I pointed out to Honorable Inus Ofuseni when we're having the discussion on Top Story and Newsnight, and I said, yes, that may be true. Yes, you can blame the people around him, but this was neither a church nor a school where you can say that he inherited the people and he could do absolutely nothing about them. Every single one of
appointed
them,
them.
he appointed them, and their failings is as much his.
Okay, it's 7 minutes past 8 on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. Malik Abbas Dabo is here with me. Raymond Akwa is here with me, and I am Daniel Dazi. What we are doing this morning is we are analyzing this declaration by Mr. John Mahama to run for president. So we'll take these important messages. When we come back, we'll begin looking at Mr. Mahama among the others. There's a book I love so much by Ravi Zacharias, Jesus Among Other Gods, where we will look at Mahama among other candidates when we come back. As we take a look at other candidates such as Alvin Bagbin, Ekosio Gabra, Sylvester Mensah, and a number of others who have who are challenging Mr. Mahama for the flag bearership. Stay with us. This is the Super Morning Show.
I wake up in the morning, it's a new day, and I got bills that I have to pay. Now you're running late, running out of time. Feels like the world is waiting in line.
Yeah, what's the way I say? Ube phone. Now I dial *737#. Enti ya we bia. Enipa we bia no. Ekwan o ha bia nim wo homo bia. Abrabo enye din ni akiri kra. E won sa no ene yia so magic ni hwe. Ni nyina hya ase wo *737#. GT Bank *737# so die. Utumi bia account foforo wo phone so. Eto airtime, etuaka. DSTV ni subscriptions. E check your account balance. Link your MTN mobile money account ni GT Bank account. Na transfer sikama busuafo ni namfofo. Eye koko kra.
I don't need to write or cash a check. I don't need data or internet. I have something that's faster than a jet. Just like
never did talking about. You could be a palm wine sabber, a teacher, a rapper, a schoolboy, a school girl, or a trader, a bank MD, a chairman, or a baker.
Guaranteed Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Don't come yo, don't come in. Hey, 10 pesos, 10 pesos. Vodafone is 10 years old and is giving you an anniversary gift of 10 times bonus and 10 pesos call rate across networks. Browse for 10 pesos per megabyte. Call Vodafone or any other network at the same rate of 10 pesos per minute. That's not all, oh. Share your scratch card with 2 more people the Kikimi style, and the 3 of you will each enjoy 10 times the value of your card. Dial *135# to subscribe. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800-222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
Move on up. Moving on up is paying from your phone and getting looks of approval from your friends. Moving on up is doing all your banking from your bathroom like a boss. Moving on up is losing your wallet, but your money is still safe. Moving on up is attaching any bank's card to the EcoBank mobile app. Oh yeah, download the EcoBank mobile app. Make we go and bank like a boss.
Move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Oh, hello, Amma. Long time, oh.
Oh, I've been standing here knocking, sir. Where were you?
Oh, I'm very sorry. I actually saw you in my cameras when you were walking in. But I was on a long-distance video call with a big cousin in the UK.
How are you able to do that?
Haven't you heard of the broadband service from Telesol? They offer fast speed with vast internet bundles to choose from and very affordable monthly rates.
Wow, is that so?
Yes, so they offer both 4G and fiber broadband.
Go on, tell me more.
And Telesol is fully Ghanaian.
I'm rushing right away to contact them. Any more details?
Yes, you can contact Telesol today for further details on 0303 975 342 or 344 or toll free on 0800 900,000 or visit www.telesol4g.com. Telesol 4G, just a touch.
It's a new day.
I want you to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together.
Forward together.
Cowbank, forward together.
Blow the candles, sound the trumpet, and scream! Media is 50! Media, your #1 air conditioner and appliance manufacturer, is 50 years old. 50 years of top-notch quality, and we're celebrating it big. Starting from 15% discount on appliances from any Media showroom or authorized reseller. Join the celebration of Media at 50. We have amazing home appliances at great discounts. Tabletop fridges starting at 499 Ghana cedis. 4-burner gas cookers starting at 799 Ghana cedis. Chest freezers are also starting at 799 Ghana cedis. Blow the candles, sound the trumpet, and scream! And so many appliances for you to choose from. One so bejo, dear. Remember, it's a celebration. It's Media at 50 big sales on appliances. Visit a Media showroom or authorized reseller now, or call us on 0503 400 600. It's the Media at 50 promotion. Terms and conditions apply.
From the capital city of Ghana, let Airpeace seamlessly connect you to the beautiful lands of the west coast of Africa through the tourist islands of Banjul, the peninsular ambience of Dakar, the captivating coasts of Monrovia, the commercial city of Lagos, and the seat of power, Abuja. From the 2nd of September 2018,
fly Airpeace from Accra to Banjul, Dakar, Monrovia, Lagos, and Abuja.
Our flights and cabin crew are professional, courteous, and fun.
Check in 2 pieces of free luggage totaling 30 kg in economy and 40 kg in business class, and earn peace points anytime you fly Airpeace.
For bookings, log on to flyairpeace.com or visit Kotoka International Airport, Accra, or travel agents nationwide.
Airpeace, your peace, our goal.
other candidates when it comes to the NDC flag bearership race. Let's continue with this leg of the discussion. But first, before we continue, let's hear Mr. John Mahama's declaration of his intention to vie.
Hello, my brothers and sisters, fellow Akatamansonians, my countrymen and women, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to confirm that I have submitted my letter to the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, confirming my decision to contest for the position of the flag bearer for the NDC when the party opens nominations later this year. In coming to this firm decision, I have pondered deeply and soberly on the socioeconomic and political landscape of our country today, vis-à-vis the clear path we had started to build aimed at positioning Ghana as a true middle-income country by modernizing our dilapidated social and economic infrastructure and gradually inculcating in the Ghanaian a sense of patriotism, self-belief, and commitment to a One Ghana agenda. I've taken into consideration the groundswell of support, the never-ending calls and encouragement from a large section of our party elders, members of our party, supporters, and Ghanaians from diverse backgrounds. I have prayed diligently about the task ahead, and I believe I owe a duty to God and my country to take our great party back into government, to right the wrongs of the past, and to put an end to the cries of the people under the current dispensation. The 2020 election presents our party, the NDC, with a great opportunity to offer yet again visionary leadership driven by a commitment to create opportunities for all our people, not just a few. Our collective victory in 2020 will end the increasing hardships, expand the base of our economy, create more sustainable jobs, ensure shared prosperity for all, and pursue good governance, including peace, unity, and security. As a servant leader, I have listened with deep respect to the elders of our party, to members of our party, and Ghanaians from all walks of life, and I'm honored to avail myself for truthful, transparent, selfless, unifying, and dedicated service to the National Democratic Congress, and above all, to the good people of Ghana.
So that was John Dramani Mahama expressing his intention to run for flag bearership of the National Democratic Congress so he wants to lead the NDC in the 2020 elections. Guys, let's begin looking at some of the opponents that he has and look at, how the decks have been lined so far, Raymond.
So you can rule out people like Stephen Atubiga, Nuruddin Idrisu, and to all intents and purposes,
but I am far too.
Even Eli Agbemava, clearly. You see, you can rule out these people because political gravitas, experience, and this particular race it's if somebody like, for example, and if I'm not being, Malik just added to the list Kweku Ricketts Hagan, and yes, of course, clearly, some of these people are like they have a future engagement.
So Malik, you have a mic in front of you. Why didn't you say it yourself?
So these people want to try their luck and test the waters for maybe 2050 or some 30 or so years to come.
2050.
Yes.
Listen,
the position of the President of the Republic of Ghana is a very important position. Not only is it not, our political structure and culture has made it close to impossible, except through coup d'etat, for some of these names to make it there. And so that's why I'm saying so. Now, I think the real contest, and to all intents and purposes, why do I think that Mr. Gbagbe really has no plans of contesting this election? I actually feel he's more interested in the effusions of having to vent out what is on his chest rather than being strategic to contest the election. Because two things. He would need people on the ground that he's attacking the people who are feeding them today. And that's strange to me. Because you need to endear yourself to the people in a way that you are seen as an alternative. And I'm also shocked because he is way too experienced for some of the commentary that he's putting out there. Post-mortem, yes. But he looks like, even the tone of the commentary is more like vendetta than having to
very harsh.
Yes, having to do any proper analysis. So I doubt if he will still make it there by the time that they are finished with the exercise. And even if he decides to contest, he'll be one of the people that will score very low marks in my own estimation of what's supposed to happen. I think that people are serious about this race, and we can drill it down. Spielgabra, Professor Joshua Alabi, and also President John Dramani Mahama himself. The rest don't sound or seem to me like they really want to be part of the
Let's
race.
go through the list.
Now, okay.
No, let's go through the entire list.
Stephen Atubiga, Sylvester Mensah, Alban Bagbin, Eko Spielgabra, Professor Joshua Alabi, Eli Agbemava, the lawyer, Gusitano, and of course you know Gusitano, and Nuruddin Idrisu, John Dramani Mahama, and Kweku Ricketts-Hagan. So that's the number.
You
of
left
people.
out Gusitano and Alban Bagbin. You have given your reasons,
yes,
which are debatable. The man is on a campaign tour,
yeah.
But you left out Gusitano. Why?
Yeah, because I think that Gustavo fits into a generation that's okay. Let's do a quick list. The people who are currently in the NDC as executives at the lower level, the people below 30, the people they did not really have a refreshing engagement with Gusitano. He seemed to have gone to sleep for far too long a period than the last decade or so. Gustavo has not been in the forefront of political engagement. That puts him in the and it's not like the Mills kind of thing that he can just be put in there and declare that like the way they did the Swedo declaration. Even so, Mills was a vice president of a sort. So the understanding of Gusitano, he may need 2 or 3 more terms in the party, but actively in the forefront to be able to make this particular impact.
But does this not give him an opportunity to reinvent himself?
Yes, maybe.
I
He's
mean,
trying.
his hiatus.
So that's what I'm saying, that when he does so, maybe we can look at him making 2 or 3% in the votes going into the next election or the next primaries of the party.
I think you're counting, because what you have added Professor Joshua Alabi, who is relatively also for this political generation. He's relatively a political novice for this generation.
Not necessarily.
Joshua Alabi.
Yes, and I know so because engage the NDC youth. Alabi, through not only IPS, through his engagement with the youth, which has been very, very consistent, has been on this quest to lead the NDC even before John Dramani Mahama became president. And the people who know him, the people who have been engaging, the people at the various constituency levels, they know him well. And if you talk to them, they are not disputing, and I'm sure I've heard some of them say that he'll be better off as the party chairman first, because they do not doubt his competence in vying for this position. They do not doubt his pedigree in this particular position. What they think is that maybe for now, to make sure that and the party still remains as strong as it's supposed to be, and there's not huge acrimony between the vying candidates and what's going to happen after their people go out. The teams that Joshua Alabi is putting up today, these are people who are actually new to politics. They are also people who have been around all the other candidates.
If you tell me about the strength of his team, I will agree with you. But as an individual, Joshua Alabi himself and the way he has endeared himself, perhaps not as much as Gusitano, but
yes, perhaps you might be looking at it from an external perspective, not detailed engagement with the people that are in the NDC today. He carries that level of respect and engagement. That's why they're not saying that Joshua Alabi cannot be president. That's why they're suggesting that he'll be better off being the party chairman. I hope you see the difference.
But have you heard?
It's because of that particular level of thinking that they put to him and in his capacity as what they call it, a potential candidate in this case. So Joshua Alabi, I think, will run. I think will make an impact.
Will he run?
Yes, he'll run. I mean, that's not in doubt at all. The other person that's also not in doubt is actually the man, Spielgabra. Spielgabra has wanted to be president for a very long time. Spielgabra's, and I'm sure sometimes I feel that Spielgabra should have been president some time ago. because now I do not feel and get his what they call his strength and aura that he used to have some decade or so ago, the same way this time round. But even then, and let's be clear, when he was minister, John Dramani Mahama was his deputy. So even in the consideration and the eyes of Jerry John Rawlings then, Spirit probably had bigger clout than John Dramani Mahama. But the political period of the last 20 years has made it close to impossible for him to have been in the forefront the way he wanted to be. He was in that, what they call Funka Games. He didn't make any impact. No, before Funka Games, of course. He didn't make any impact like the Edianan did not make any impact. He didn't make any impact like the other people. And that's where the party felt somewhat alienated by his comments that there's a Team B that's in office and the Team A. Remember that when John Dramani Mahama brought him in, his vetting was pretty much heated. And even his own party members were grilling him and making him feel like your Team B comment was more important than the things you brought on board. He's a fine gentleman. He has experience international-wise. He has that kind of clout from somebody you can see as a presidential material. As to what the NDC members today will look at, and that's why, I mean, most likely, I'm not convinced that any of these candidates put together, and even all the 8 or 9 put together, will make up to 10% of the votes. I'm still convinced that John Dramani Mahama is going to make a huge win in the primaries. But as to whether, if you put all the biases aside, he will be the best candidate for them, is one different issue altogether. And I will elucidate in 1 minute. One, I have said that if you close your eyes to any other thing, all things being equal, the NPP is likely to win the next election, looking at the trends over the period, if that's anything to go on. And Ghanaian political scene is fairly conservative, let's be clear. Two, if that proceeds in that direction, it will be dangerous for the party to repeat John Dramani Mahama in 2024 for an election. Three, if he's not repeated, every other candidate will be a fresh candidate, less likely to win. So, I am thinking that, I mean, and this is solely my opinion.
Why would it be dangerous to repeat John Mahama in 2024?
What would have been the point?
Of repeating? Then what's the point of repeating him in 2020?
Because I'm saying that's why the 2020 option, if the party wants to look at another alternative, mindful just on the historical trends of having to win 2 consecutive times for every political party. So if another repeats 2020, then there's 2024. I believe that if they try a different candidate today, the person might have built enough gravitas for the next 2 elections, so can possibly win in 2024, where Ghanaians may, if for nothing at all, remain conservative. Says the NPP has done 8 years, put out, let's repeat the next person.
Malik, do you remember the rumors of a certain agenda 2020 going into the 2016 election?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are permutations that are not unrealistic.
Well, Raymond speaks very convincingly a lot of times, but looking at it from another angle, Malik, the candidates that we have run through, do you really believe that these are candidates? I mean, looking at the person who has had a history of Kusitano, and looking at where we are standing relative to November 2018 when the flag bearers will be elected, and December 2020 when there will be a national election, looking at persons like Joshua Alabi, looking at person like Ekosio Gabra, who has the advantage of history and popularity presently, who has the advantage of having worked within John Mahama's presidency presently. I mean, do you think that it's such a slam dunk for Mr. Mahama?
All the people you have mentioned, some of them, in my view, committed political suicide. Take Kusitano, for example, 2000. It was as if he believed that he was entitled to the presidency, or at minimum, that the then President Rawlings ought to have allowed a competition, and he believed if that competition had been permitted, he would have won. But that didn't happen. The president anointed his vice as a party's presidential candidate for the 2000 elections, and he was pretty unhappy by that singular action of the president because, as I said, he believed that he was entitled to the leadership of the party. And when that didn't happen, he was not given a fair chance to even vie for it. What did he do? he broke away from the party. He formed the National Reform Party, went into the 2000 election, performed abysmally, and then went into political hiatus.
And supported the NPP for the second round.
Until 2009, when, in fact, before the 2008 elections, then he started then helping then candidate males and playing some roles here and there. And then he got appointed in the government. But even then, he was not in the public's eye. So this is a fine man, great presidential material, well-spoken, looks good, has the history, has the political acumen, but committed political suicide in 2000. And I think the same can be said for Spio Garbrah. And Raymond is talking about Spio Garbrah. I was in Tamale in 2009 when the NDC went for the national elections, national executive elections. Spio Garbrah was contesting the, I think, first or second vice chairman of the party at the time.
The contest is for vice chairman. The one who gets the highest number of votes gets first vice chairman.
I was covering it, and I was there at the time when he contested that position. But before then, the problem started before then. Remember that himself, Edianan, Alhaji Mama Idrisu, and Mills fought for the flag bearership of the party in 2006. Now, when Mills was elected, and then his health kind of wasn't favoring him, Mills was in hospital in South Africa. Then Spio Garbrah then was in charge of the International Telecoms Union and was based in London. And Spio Garbrah went to South Africa to go and visit Mills, and then sent a text message to Rawlings talking about the status of Mills's health, and then suggesting that he thinks they should change Mills as the presidential candidate of the party. This text got leaked. That was the beginning of Spio Garbrah's problems within the party. So there were people who were not happy by that. But at the time, the NDC did a great thing. They spinned it as if this was coming from the opposition, and that favored them. But there were people who knew that this text message had been sent, and the source was him, Spio Garbrah. He didn't help matters when subsequently he was not appointed into Mills's government, and then he started writing articles. And I attended one of the press conferences that he addressed at, I think, Nat Hall. When he addressed that press conference, and he was answering one of the senior members of the government at the time, Atua Hoy, who said that as long as he remained in government, he was advisor to Mills at the time, as long as he remained in government, Spio Garbrah can stay out and piss in. He will never be appointed. Because he had written articles asking the question, why did the government appoint persons who were Team B ministers when the Team A people were on the sidelines and could deliver better? Because you have to remember that.
With asking the question, you said many today in this country are asking this question.
Yes.
Why are the Team A people seated somewhere and Team B is the one running the country?
You know, so that pitched him against many, especially of these same Team B people who then got into parliament. Remember at the vetting that Raymond referred to, they really grilled him because they thought this was an opportunity for them to exact their pound of flesh. And they minced no words.
So that's in your view was Spio Garbrah's suicide.
So that was the beginning of his problem. And then he decided that he was bowing out of politics. Then he went to Dominion University, and then he left politics entirely. And it was as if he had abandoned the presidential ambitions because things were not going his way. His deputy had become president. So there was a certain frustration that one could discern. So eventually when he was brought back into government, he had lost the luster. And that affected his stature within the party.
Quickly touch on Prof. Alabi and Alban Bagbin, the now famous Alban Bagbin.
I am a little surprised by Bagbin's interest now, because when Bagbin first criticized President Mahama and said that President Mahama, if people at Standigwe were managing him, then the president was naked. When he leveled that criticism, and he was told that he's jealous of Mahama because he had presidential ambitions, and Mahama, his junior by far, became president and he was not, and that he was jealous, and he was on account account of that jealousy that he was attacking the president, his response was that, look, I am too mature in politics to nurse presidential ambitions now. I know that Mahama comes from the northern part of the country. After having become president on the ticket of the NDC, I do not think that in the next election, any northerner will stand any chance to lead the NDC again to an election. This is Bagbin talking. What has changed? It's the argument that, well, because Mahama didn't do 2 terms, then that argument doesn't hold, and therefore you can run. Because this is what he said, that Mahama like him, comes from the north. And if Mahama led the NDC to the election, he didn't think that the party would be in the mood to choose another northerner to lead it. And yet he's in the running. Other than that, by far, Bagbin has one of the best experience to lead the NDC. When the NDC lost the 2000 election, and I have information that he actually didn't want to contest the parliamentary seat, it was someone who told, a number of people told then candidate Mills that Bagbin was a fine material and that they should do everything possible to make him retain his seat. So Mills then promised Bagbin that he should do everything to keep his seat and that if he became president in 2001, he'd like to work with him. This is how Bagbin, who had actually told somebody that he was not going to run and that the person should run, he had to go back on that promise and go and run. And then he won the election. Then he became minority leader. Nobody is left in doubt what Bagbin did as minority leader. He raised the stakes. He held the government accountable. And I remember his fights with the then Speaker of Parliament. Right from day one, when Alajete was appointed, Bagbin said he knew him. He had been chairman of MPP before. They couldn't trust him to be unbiased and balanced and fair to all of them. Nonetheless, Alajete proved it. And then fast forward to the 2005 parliament, this same Bagbin then decided that they, the minority, will support Alajete against the government nominee of Bejina Sechi Hughes. In fact, he was warned that if they did that, the majority will take the second deputy speakership from them. He went ahead and still nominated Alajete. And it is the reason why in the 2005 parliament, the minority didn't have the second deputy speakership. The majority voted and took all 3. Speaker, first, second deputy speakers. So Bagbin's stature, his understanding and appreciation of politics, his history. Note that this is the longest serving member of parliament. The Nadoli Kadio people have returned him to parliament from 92, 96, 2000,
since there was a Fourth Republic, he's been MP.
2016.
I wish Malik, we could juxtapose this illustrious career.
You know, he dragged Kufuor to Shraj. Yes. On the Kufuor Hotel thing.
Yeah, he's the one who took Kufuor to Shraj. I wish we could juxtapose his illustrious political career against his utterances in the past 2 weeks. Because I don't know why I get the feeling that Alban Bagbin in 2 weeks is undoing a reputation he built for himself in 25 years. I don't know.
I think
Malik, I need to take this break. I'll be back to we have Professor Ransford Jampo on the standby. He'll give his comments about some of these observations that we've made as journalists in the past few years. But this is the Super Morning Show. Send us in your comments on 0244340437. That's our WhatsApp line. Stay with us.
Go now, so many reasons for me to be thankful. When I cast my mind back, oh God, I'm grateful. Send me baby, I'm free. No one was helpful. All I had was to see the in a dream and my team. But now we be balling, we be jamming every day. Hit maker add aroma. Me too, I get 100K plus a record deal. Charlie hard work, really pays. And I shows after shows, I said the place the place. My dream was legit. All I needed was a push.
Wannabe Curl Songs, the Jennifer Lomote architect, Kitty, the Odo hit maker, and the multiple award-winning rock star Kwame Eugene. Then Ghana's authentic and most rewarding music show beacons, MTN Hitmaker Season 7. Download the Hitmaker app from Google Play Store to register. Follow the prompts and stand the chance to win a whopping 100,000 Ghana cedis recording deal. Send your comments on MTN Hitmaker app at MTN Hitmaker on Twitter and Facebook, or WhatsApp us on 0551 300 000. MTN Hitmaker 7. Rule the mic.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
possibilities. Africa is filled with them. People are going places. Businesses are starting up. Things are happening on our continent every day. And as a forward-looking organization, we believe there's no better time or place to do business than right now in Africa. That's why, as one of the largest companies listed on the JSE Top 40 Index on Africa's largest stock exchange, we deliver world-class expertise to grow businesses. So, if you want to go from local to international, we are a truly African organization with global reach. Absa Group, proudly serving Ghana as Barclays. For more, visit absa.africa. This message is brought to you by Absa Group Limited.
Roverman Productions, in partnership with the National Theatre and Joy FM, presents A Crazy Ride by Uncle White. And guess what? It's starring Uncle White himself.
Me? Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, Uncle. This time you're the one in the spotlight, and people are coming to see just how crazy you can be.
Yeah, let's do this.
Watch Uncle White on stage in the one-man show titled A Crazy Ride. Date, September 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th. Time, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Rates, 80 Ghana cedis. Venue, National Theatre. Tickets available at Joy FM, Bond Savings and Loans branches, Frankie's Osu, and all usual outlets. Hotline, 050-554-6010. Sponsors, Bond Savings and Loans, Fritol, and Fortune Rice from Wilma. Media partners, myjoyonline.com, adumonline.com, GhanaWeb.com, Pulse.com.gh, Logistics Mover, DDP Outdoor, Daily Guide, Gold Street Business, and Websoft Solutions. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Did you know that bed bugs are dangerous insect pests that cause sleeplessness, tiredness, body rashes, anemia due to blood loss, and general discomfort to humans? Unfortunately, they are so difficult to get rid of. They spread in your beddings, your child's beddings in boarding schools, bags, lockers, clothes, everywhere. You may not see them all, but they are there. That's why you need the Innisfly Bed Bug Solution, a ready-to-use effective solution. All you have to do is shake it and spray infested areas. Wait for it to dry, and that's it.
Yes, spray the bedbugs out with Innisfly Bedbug Solution now. Households, boarding schools, and other institutions with minor and major bedbug infestations.
Call 057770100.
Innisfly, beautiful protection.
I am Dr. Acacia. Acacia gives your workers the best customer service and treatment options when the need arises, keeping them healthier and more productive for your business. Acacia Health Insurance. We place value on those you value.
Charlie, what be your thing? Stand big, Brian, yeah, baby. My body wants your thing, know your thing, you for do your thing. My body wants your thing, know your thing, you for do your thing. My body wants your thing, know your thing, you for do your thing. Stand big, man, go help you to do your thing, to do your thing. Stand big, go support your thing. Stand big, them go do your thing. Stand big, go support your thing. Stand big, man, go help you to do your thing.
Airtel Tigo spoiled them big time. Sir. Some new big time bundles view.
The only bundles I want here about are bundles of cash.
So what about a bundle that gives you the most data on your 1, 2, and 5 Ghana Cedi bundles than anywhere else, and also gives you a whole 1.5 gig for only 10 Ghana Cedi?
Please, no network could give you that much data at that price.
Sir, well, Airtel Tigo does, and you even get a big 2 gig for the same 10 Ghana Cedis when you bundle directly from an Airtel Tigo scratch card or with Airtel Tigo Money.
Hey.
Airtel Tigo's new big time bundles do not expire. You can browse, sir. No more daily, weekly, or monthly bundles.
Hey, bad. How do I subscribe?
Dial *111#, select big time bundles and browse. Whether you're a new subscriber or an old subscriber, T's and C's apply. Get big time data from the network that gives you the most. Airtel Tigo.
Hey, Kwame, what's up here?
My brother, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer.
What?
My brother is here with kidney disease too. Oh, yeah.
Do you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 16,000 new cases of cancers are diagnosed annually in Ghana, and kidney diseases account for 10% of all medical admissions to Kolebu?
But thanks to Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, Joseph, I have spent over 20,000 Ghana cedis on my younger brother's disease. Yeah. What is Joseph?
Glyco Critical Illness Plan, GSIP, provides you with financial support when diagnosed with any critical illness or dread disease such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures. Speak to Glyco Life today on 0302-218-500 for your GSIP policy. It is definitely in our interest to survive. Glyco Life, we cushion you for life.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Hi listeners, I am Agnes Bell Edem Carter by name, but love to be called as Miss Journalist. My dream is to become a renowned journalist in Ghana. My passion of becoming a TV anchor cum journalist is taking shape at where I am today, Blue Crest College. Guess what? I'm at Blue Crest Media Lab recording, and this can tell you how close my dream is becoming a reality. Millions out there with aspirations to become a renowned journalist, come and experience Blue Crest College.
Choose Blue Crest College. For admission, call or WhatsApp 0263 011 390 or 207 783. Visit our website bluecrest.edu.gh. Blue Crest College, education for life.
Super Morning Show.
Nine minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. You're welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We've been talking about the NDC flag bearership race, looking at the chances of some candidates against some others. We'll soon be bringing a conversation to Professor Ransford Jampo. Wow, a slew of messages in here coming from you expressing your opinion about what we've been talking about. We'll get to that in a few, and then we'll speak to Professor Ransford Jampo. But before that, Africa is full of potential. People are getting things done. Businesses are on the rise, and Absa Group is tapping into this can-do spirit. As one of the largest companies listed on the JSE's Top 40 Index, on Africa's largest stock exchange, Absa Group delivers award-winning expertise to enable people and businesses to realize their possibilities. Daily, Absa Group proudly serving Ghana as Barclays. For more, visit www.absa.africa. Now, text messages on the Super Morning Show are brought to you by Afrodan. Your back must last you a lifetime. And Glyco Travel Insurance Policy, we cushion you for life. Afrodan is offering you today the most comfortable chair in the world, the Nightingale Extreme Comfort Chair. With over 10 thoughtfully engineered features, especially customized for your health and comfort, working has never had this good. Go to Afrodan on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade and feel this chair. You will be amazed. It's 8 minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll soon be going on the phone lines to speak with Professor Ransford Jampo. But I have a few text messages here. Enuma, give me the first two, and then we go ahead.
Okay, so this is from Tafa in Amrahi. Okay, it's from Tafa. Finally.
I'm right here.
Okay. Finally, we, the rank and file of the party, are happy with what we saw yesterday. President Mahama is coming to rescue this country from from drowning, especially where we saw him with the senior members of the party in his office. I was very happy to see Uncle Atu, Professor Kwamena, and Daniel Ohenia Jekum around President Mahama. I know with these people around him, all the past mistakes will be corrected. Finally, I have one concern though. President Mahama needs to address urgently people who are contesting at the upcoming regional elections and are using his name to campaign with. They are telling delegates that it was President Mahama who asked them to contest. He needs to assure the party members that he has nothing to do with the upcoming regional elections. He's not in support of any member against others. Diamond Ashong from Teshi says, what else is John Mahama coming to do if elected, apart from his usual corruption and loot for his family and friends? Is it his agenda to bring back Doomsaw, collapse of business, cancel training allowance and free SHS? Why does he want to come back? That's quite a contrary view from the first one. That's from Diamond.
Yeah, there are a few more messages that we'll be going through shortly, but travels abroad can be very exciting but full of uncertainties. Have you thought of all the unexpected events that may occur whilst abroad? Every travel is a wonderful experience, so do not be exposed to the unexpected. Get a Glyco travel insurance policy designed to cover travel costs and reduce the risk associated with unexpected events during your international and domestic travels to Europe, the Schengen countries, or anywhere worldwide. Talk to us today on 055-530-5547 or 020-887-6956. Let's help you plan for a peaceful travel abroad. Glyco Travel Insurance, cut the hassle, all the convenience. Glyco Life, we cushion you for life. Let's go on the phone lines now and speak with Professor Ransford Jampo. He is a political scientist and he's a professor of political science and director of the Center for European Studies. And he's joining us for further analysis on the candidature of former President Mahama. First of all, Professor Jampo, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello, thanks for having me. Let me correct this, that I'm not a professor of political science. I'm an associate professor of political science.
Thanks for the correction. Thanks for the correction. Maybe I'm speaking prophetically, you never know. Great. So, in the first place, your impressions, Mr. Mahama. First of all, let's look at this show of force that he did yesterday. He wasn't even there at the party himself. He had so many people, respected figures within the party, go out there, declare that Mr. Mahama is vying. Then we had those pictures on social media of him visiting Mr. Rawlings. Then we had that video of him declaring his intent. Then we had pictures of jubilation among he and personal friends after he had declared that he will run. It's looking like it's a slam dunk for Mr. Mahama, no?
Well, I watched the video and I was captivated. Just I had to watch and listen to him and announcing his bid. It showed a lot of seriousness and all that. I think this a new strategy that he adopted to announce. And I said, hey, this man, he's not a president, and see the way he's the medium, he chose to announce his candidature or his decision to contest. It's good for him. I mean, politicians would always have to devise or fashion out new ways and means to make themselves, appealing to their supporters and all that. So it's good for him. Generally, I think John Mahama is an affable personality. Going closer to him, he exhibits some form of humility that would, whether you like him or not, would attract you to him. And he's also, in my view, in possession of the resources that would make him run an effective campaign. And I would also say that it looks to me that he's very popular within the party, among the grassroots and then also among the top echelons of the party.
Hello, Prof. Please reposition yourself for me. The line is not stable.
Is it better now?
Yes, it's better now.
So he's also popular, among the ranks and file of the party and also among the top echelons of the party. As you rightly indicated, you saw the people who were at during his declaration of his intention to contest and all that. But it is important for him to be advised that yes, popularity he is, but there are other aspirants who are also working behind the scenes very hard to also court some popularity for themselves. So politics is not about all for what you do for the cameras. It's also about what you do behind the scenes and door to door. That also endear yourself to people who really matter in deciding who becomes a flag bearership. And so you must be mindful of that. Even though I'm also aware some are not doing so well in declaring or making people know that they also want to contest. Some are engaging in utterances that, in my view, are politically suicidal and would harm their fortunes. But generally, there are others who are also serious, who are also trying to court popularity for themselves. But there are other issues that must also be highlighted, maybe as a way of just making him sit up so that you don't thrive only on popularity. First of all, it's the constitutional issue. This is a former president who has maybe received ex gratia, and I'm wondering whether an ex-president who has been officially seen off by the state can stand again.
Right.
This is, in my view, quite a gray area which may require constitutional interpretation by the Supreme Court. And so what will happen if the interpretation comes at a time when the aspirant is already a candidate on the ballot box? And so if I would advise that he puts together a legal team to quickly go to court to clarify this issue now, so that someone else will not.
Hello, Prof.
Yes, hello.
Yes. Okay. Prof, I would ask that you do me this favor and hold on for just a minute. I have to do the Joy Business Minute, and we'll come back and continue. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. You're still listening to the Super Morning Show. Let's take the Joy Business Minute.
Last day of the working week.
Daryl and Karen with the Joy Business Minute, our top stories.
Board chairman of BOSS has resigned from office over the collapse of Sovereign Bank, one of the 5 banks the Bank of Ghana shut down recently over breach of banking regulations. Kwame Champonche resigned as the board chairman of the now defunct Sovereign Bank shortly before the revocation of its operating license by the central bank.
Some finance houses and savings and loans companies have started closing down subsidiaries due to panic withdrawals that have hit them. The move Joy Business understands is to prevent collapse of these companies.
Indigenous oil exploration firm Springfield is set to commence commercial drilling next year. The company obtained a license in 2010 as a bulk oil distribution company.
An American agrochemicals company, Monsanto, is facing a surge in lawsuits that may cost its new owners Bayer billions in damages. Monsanto manufactures glyphosate-based weed killers, which some believe have potential to cause cancer.
And those are the latest stories.
We'll be back at 3:06.
Super Morning Show.
You're welcome back from the Joy Business Minutes. Let's get back on the phone lines with Professor Ransford Jampo. Prof, thanks very much for your patience. A very interesting point that you raised there about Mr. Mahama and whether or not he can receive ex gratia. But Prof, have we seen any constitutional provision that bars persons from receiving ex gratia twice?
Well, I'm not aware, but like I said, there is always the spirit and the letter of a constitution, and there's a spirit behind why certain provisions in the constitution are placed there. And so, like I said, it is a gray area that must be subject to interpretation. And so I would advise that they act now to seek interpretation to ensure that he is fully clarified. The other bit I want to, the other point I want to make is that I indicated earlier that he's a very popular person within the party, and I'm telling you, he's also still popular among some Ghanaians. But there's always difference between popularity and acceptance. You may be popular, but you may not be accepted. And so, if you look at our statistics, usually before any election, NDC will always have 45% of votes, and people have 45% of votes. What is always needed is 5%, the 5% plus 1, which oftentimes come from the floating voters. If you look at the 2016 election results, NDC went down by around 44%, in spite of the popularity of John Mahama. And so then he will have to do extra work to go beyond his popularity, to court also a lot of acceptance for himself.
But then again, he was going against a candidate who was also very popular in his own right, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who had also won his party internal election very convincingly. And so in this case, John Mahama is going against persons who do not deign to be as popular as he is at the moment. Isn't that an overriding factor?
You see, I do not want to talk about the contest between John Mahama and the sitting president for now. All that I'm trying to say is that he must get acceptance for himself.
Okay.
And he must move beyond popularity to court more acceptance for himself. Now, if he's accepted and then he is also declared or made the flag bearer, then we can talk about the contest between him and then the certain president.
Well, I was actually making reference to the 2016 race when you were talking about. I was just making reference to that. But then again, you said earlier that some of his opponents, some of Mr. Mahama's opponents in this internal race have made politically suicidal statements. Which candidates would those be?
Oh, you know, but you know it already. I mean, some of them have used people's challenges against them. I mean, it's not a politically correct statement to make such utterances and all that, because as a leader, you must know that politics and elections is all about numbers, and you're always seeking all constituencies and all segments of the
Hello, Prof.
You are always supposed to seek all the support from all segments of the population for yourself. And so if you make such utterances, then it tends to alienate you from a certain segment of your support base. And note that it's not only that segment that may be alienated, but others may also sympathize with that segment, and that will make you quite not look too good, for them. And so
are you referring to Mr. Alban Bagbin?
Well, you are mentioning him, but
I am asking if you're referring to him. Mr. Bagbin has made statements which have had persons with disability, groups of persons with disability, openly condemn him. I'm asking if that's what you mean.
Fit it in yourself. But generally, I'm saying that apart from that, there are others who are also working behind the scenes just to also endear themselves to those who are kingmakers, in the flag bearership race. And so my advice is, yes, John Mahama is affable, he's humble, he's popular, he has the resources, but he must do two things. Look at the constitutional hurdles, the gray areas that may come up against him, go to court now to ensure that he's fully cleared, and then secondly, go beyond popularity and do all he can to also win more acceptance for himself, so that, he'll be okay.
Thank you very much, Ransford Jampo, Professor Ransford Jampo, for joining us. He is an associate professor at the Department of Political Science in the University of Ghana, and he is also director of the Center for European Studies. He joined us on the line for some analysis on the candidature of former President John Mahama. Key points really being that, first of all, Mr. Mahama is affable, he's popular, but he must go beyond the popularity to gain acceptance within the party rank and file. Also, he believes it's time to go to court to clear up a matter that if Mr. John Mahama has received ex gratia once, can he receive ex gratia again? He says is simply a grey area that must be cleared. And then he said some other candidates who are running against Mr. Mahama now have committed political suicide by making some statements. Your guess is as good as mine who that candidate is. We'll take these important messages, and Enimwa is working overtime just collating what you have been sending us so far. We'll come back from the break and we'll deal with them. Stay with us.
Want to buy airtime for that special person? Do you need that app that works without internet? Worry no more. Molalite is here. You can buy airtime to any network and pay bills using any mobile money wallet. What's more, earn money by referring new users to buy airtime. Download the Molalite app from Google Play Store today, or simply dial *234# to use Molalite.
Welcome to Anchemans University College of Health Sciences, the newest health university college here in Ghana, poised to add in value to the pharmaceutical industry in the country. Entrance was set up to meet the high demand for research and in-depth knowledge for pharmacy. We are accredited by the National Accreditation Board, affiliated with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Students have the unique opportunity to a hands-on training with the Entrance University Hospital and the Entrance Pharmaceutical and Research Center. School start in September 2018.
Call us on
050 908 663.